Carvers.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Carvers and Creators. We are streaming live today to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. We humbly ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow. And please let us know in the comments where you're watching from and if you have any questions for the Carvers. My name is Michael Mondragon, and I'll be running the show and moderating the comments and chiming in from time to time. Let me first introduce the pumpkin carvers for the show. First, he was a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network, carving out of Tucson, Arizona. Matt Harper, welcome.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Next up, he was the winner of Outrageous Pumpkins 2019 on the Food Network, carving out of Boston, Massachusetts. Paul Dever, welcome.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, buddy.
And next up, we are honored and privileged to have a world-renowned pumpkin carver with us tonight. In a field of talented artists, he is considered one of the elite by his peers. He is the visionary and patriarch of Villafane Studios, carving out of just outside Phoenix, Arizona, Mr. Ray Villafane. Welcome, Ray.
Welcome.
So we usually start out with a toast and showing what we're drinking tonight. Who wants to start out?
I'll do it.
All right,
Come on, Paulie.
Okay, I think this is called Summer, and this is from Treehouse Brewing. And there's so much graphics on the can, I can't find anything. Oh, there we go. It's 8.1, and it's an American double IPA.
Phenomenal.
So if I disappear halfway through, it's because it's 8.1.
And
Beautiful.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll
Tonight?
go next. I'm having a Jack and Coke, otherwise known as a Lemmy, because I'm not. This time I ran out of beer, so I'm going back to the old favorite, but I'm having a Lemmy tonight.
Beauty.
In honor of Ray being here tonight, I actually have a Santan Brewing Company Arizona style lager gifted to me by a friend in Arizona. So
Very
I
nice.
believe they're out of Chandler, Arizona. So I'm enjoying that tonight. Ray, do you have anything tonight?
and OG Kush or something.
That's okay. That's okay. Whatever gets us through the show. It's an hour and a half. So yeah, we're looking definitely forward to this. So do we want to start out with what we're carving, or do you want to just have Ray just run the show and basically show us around?
Well, why don't we check out what Ray's carving? Ray,
Yeah.
I saw a sneak peek.
All right, so let me see. This is what I have here. I started this.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So this is a little Gilman butternut that I started working on, and I blocked them out, and then I just played tossing it just because it wasn't really kind of dry. But I was able to I picked it back out of the water and was working on it. But you can see this area, Paul. The area I was talking about. See where the white stuff just kind of creeps out of there?
Oh, yeah.
That was all smooth earlier.
So it's just dehydrating right in front of you.
Yeah, it's just like, and it was all smooth, and some of these things that I had on there were coming off, but
It gives it actually a cool texture.
so I have I had to cut 2 hatches in the back, and what I would like to do with him, let's see, is I was thinking about using a sweet potato, like I have plenty of lips here. So I was thinking about opening. I already have the back open; it's already hollow in there. You can see, but I was going to try to fit some gums in there, and then lots of little teeth, little nubby, pointed but short nubby teeth coming out all over the place. Kind of like a, sort of like this guy.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This sweet potato gums is such a good move. It's such a creative way to go at it.
This and white potatoes.
Will you fabricate like the teeth on the gums and then put it in almost like a set of dentures?
Yeah, what I was thinking of doing is I started that, but I was thinking it might be beneficial to fit the gums in there and then kind of do a little bit of both, because I don't want to set the teeth and then once those teeth are set, they're set. And then I go put it in there, and it's not at the exact angle I want, because you know how difficult it is. You know, with the eyes, when you're putting the eyes in there, it's like, and you're gluing them, so it's like almost like a one-shot deal sometimes. So I've never done this before, first of all, so I'm thinking out loud right now. but I think I might do a little bit of both, because I think there's going to be. Well, actually, I'll have to put them on beforehand, but I'm going to have that thing fit in there and at least scribe where I want teeth so that I can pull it out and intelligently put teeth rather than just putting random teeth and hoping they read well once they go in there.
Right. You almost have to mark out where the gum line's going to be too when you put it back in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you're going to open up the lips a little bit, you said, Ray? Make it a little bit more.
So what'll happen is like maybe like right here.
Yeah.
This will be dug out, and there'll be sweet potato. And then you only see really the top gums with some teeth. And on the bottom, you'll probably just see the tops of teeth. Like the bottom gums will be out of view.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love the warts too. The warts are such a cool touch.
And those are real easy. Like I told you, just like I just take a small little scooper, then take X-Acto and slice it, and then take that piece and glue it on there. And then you can do different sizes, And
yeah.
So those are all melon balls.
So they are all. I mean, right here are some that I just carved into it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All that are on top of the surface are done with these two.
Wow.
Okay.
This one here, I only used a full one right there. What I've done for a couple others, I scooped out the material, but then only took a slice of that semicircle. I took a much shallower.
Yep. Yeah.
End of it I used, like I cut a crown off the top of each little thing, and on this one here, same thing, but yeah, just those.
And then it's just a spot of super glue and off you go.
Yeah, it takes. Yeah, if you're just starting out to do that type of stuff, sometimes you could make the mistake of using too much super glue, or like you get to know how moist you should have the pumpkin. So like I'll make sure there's some moisture on the pumpkin a little bit, just so that super glue really grabs into it. And then only use just enough super glue so you don't get leakage of the super glue around the rim of whatever it is you're gluing, or else it gives that frosty crust can be difficult to clean out, especially like in eye is,
Yeah. Oh, man.
I get that a lot. I get that a lot when I do noses, if I got to glue on a piece. Yeah,
that's one I hate. I try not to build something if I hate that part if I could avoid it, but sometimes you can't, and you got to add it, and just
It looks badass, man. I love the potato.
I love it.
I gotta just pull the trigger and stop being afraid of it.
No, it's so fun.
It looks great. The color contrast is just. It looks like clay. It does, or it looks like a puppet. Like it could stop moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the carrot doesn't hold its color for so long. So this carrot eyes there. And
I'm surprised the carrot's bleached.
Huh?
I'm surprised the carrot's bleached.
Yeah, at least it's still a little different.
It still looks good.
Yeah, it's a shade different.
That guy's settling in nicely.
Yeah.
He's got a little friend on top of him there.
Oh, this is putting some weight on him here.
He's drowning him.
His guy is all hacked apart because when I did this one, I was just discovering, just kind of searching for things, and I removed the material behind that bridge of the mask, and I shouldn't have. Like I learned on this little thing, I learned on this light. Let's see. So he's starting to collapse. He's even collapsing. His mouth is collapsing.
Oh yeah.
It's all hollowed out in there.
It gives it character though. He's got like a gigantic underbite going now.
He does.
These two together.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, but yeah, it's just I wish I could preserve it like this, just like that with no water, no liquid.
Yeah.
Just take a picture.
That's right. That's all you can.
That's right. That always lasts the longest, right?
Yeah.
Picture in a nice frame. Now the thing hanging off the side of that potato is actually like the craziest thing.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's awesome. It makes it look like a mask.
Like a snork or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got this one here. I look for ones that are kind of. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
It's
It's like a vein and a stem.
It's got
Yeah.
a vein.
I may. This is kind of a small sweet potato here. I may pop that little stem off of it and transplant it to this sweet potato because this is a better size to carve, and
Yeah.
that top spot that could really accept that perfectly. And so I may do that. I got this potato that I found. I like this.
It's a good size one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to look for ones that kind of have something cool going on.
Yeah.
So those are the only. Then I just got some. I have. I got this, but I like to look for butternut squash that. Well, at least I got to do a couple. I got to do a couple more skulls that I want to ideas I want to do. So I try to look for ones that don't have that sort of.
The bell.
Yeah. The big thin top.
For ones that don't have that drastic. Did I lose everyone?
No,
Don't worry.
wait.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. All right. So I try to get ones that are just like this shape.
Yeah.
That more of a gradual taper.
Yeah. Same, so just like a bean, without that dip in the middle. Yeah. So you want me? I can show you around here. So this is the type of stuff I used to do, right? That sort of, like collectible stuff. Like
So badass.
toys. Like all these toys and collectibles are things I used to do.
That's crazy.
Little sculptures and stuff.
And all of that just starts as
Are those
they all just start as clay. I mean, that's all clay, and then
Yeah, so like right up here, that's the original sculpture right there.
Wow.
And then that one next to it is a factory casting that's not painted yet. And then there's the one that comes in stores. So when I did that, that's the original there, but that one, it's done in wax, which is it's like either you sculpt it, you rough it in regular clay and cast it into wax, or you could coat stuff into the wax and shit. I don't know. It's a long process, but yeah.
That's awesome though. Yeah, you can melt it on, right?
Yeah.
Add on. Yeah.
Yeah, and then here's I didn't do the
Wow.
designs. I did that. And this is Ilya's zombie pumpkin from last year's pumpkin festival.
That's such a badass sculpt. Now, is the tongue a separate piece?
No, I don't.
Wow. He did that all in one shot. That's crazy.
wow.
Yeah.
Talented dude.
Dude, he's
Wow, I see that. Yeah.
incredibly talented. Look at this thing.
How long did that take him, Ray?
2 days, I think.
Wow. Look at that.
That's amazing.
Jesus, huh? Looks like it was carved yesterday.
Right? Yeah, it's like it's everything's in perfect condition. I mean, the only thing like this collapsed. You can see where it right there. It bent and collapsed in itself a little, like that. That was straight, you know. But
Even the ear. Jesus.
so it's based off of Tomek Radz. I don't want to say his last name, but
I screwed up too.
Yeah. Anyway, it was based off of one of his zombie sculptures.
He's amazing too. Is it Radskowitz? Is that?
Yeah. He's amazing. And there's some more collectibles. The sand sculpt. There's a big scarecrow hand I made for something. I don't know.
Where do you find those pieces of wood? On your hikes and stuff?
Yeah. This pumpkin, I fucking love it. I'm gonna plans to make just a little limbs for him for that pumpkin, and just yeah.
That's
Anyway.
crazy.
That pumpkin you were just holding, Ray, that thing's completely dried out, right? From a year or so ago?
Yeah. I bought that pumpkin just a year ago to use, and it never rotted, and
Yeah, it's like a gourd now.
yeah,
It's a musical instrument.
that's right.
Wow. Mine don't do that. Is it the Arizona?
No, mine either. They
the
turned
Arizona weather.
There's Brujo. So you can see like this tank been sealed properly when I sealed it, so it had some oxygen in there, and the oxygen is causing vinegar to grow a mother, which is it's kind of like when you drink a kombucha drink, is that sort of like sort of gelatinous sort of yeast thing or whatever, but
film. Yeah.
it's cool right there. It looks ghostly.
It does.
It looks like a ghost, yeah.
Like a shroud.
Yeah, I gotta get in there, and so like you can see little pieces of it broke over by like just resting on his face, almost like the
Eye boogers.
or something.
Now, did you do that one?
No, the original one I did, and then because of the character, I wanted last year for him to be resculpted and put out for the storyline, and so then I had Dimitri carve this one.
Guys are amazing. Those Russian sculptors are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are. And
Nikolai's another one too, right?
oh yeah. Skeleton on the floor.
Why wouldn't there be?
Let me spray him. I'll show you some of the other stuff.
Hey, before we take the tour, I'm anxious to see what Paul's made so far, because we were talking about it yesterday, and I just want to take a quick glance.
I was supposed to do something?
Oh, come on! I know this isn't just the Ray show. Come on, I want to see what you made.
Hell no, I can't follow. How do you follow that? All right, so I started making a ghoul, I guess you would say he is.
Cool.
Nice.
I really don't have much direction on it. I just started scratching away on him, and this is what I've got so far. But he's got his friends in the background. You know, I took the other guys out of the fridge to kind of. He had to hold his own with with Ray.
Great, man.
He's got to have friends to hang out with.
He does, because they'll all be in the back of the fridge, so I can figure out what I'm going to do with them.
You get more tanks.
Yes, I definitely need more tanks. Like I told you before, though, my space is a postage stamp. I'll be making I'll have to line the walls with them. Whoa, killer clown.
Yeah, so I went with I kind of got a good idea from some of Ray's stuff. I mean, just because he's got some really cool looking clowns. So this one might be hard to see. I don't have the kick-ass lighting Ray and you guys have, so I'll see what I can do here. But yeah, that's a little better. And I started
wow.
this fun little neck thing here that
All the way around too.
and boy, was that a pain in the ass. I was like, my God, I thought tentacles were bad. This is one extra layer, but this is the same piece, the same top, so it all flowed like from here down. But so I was able to give him a little dumb hat too, without having to glue it on.
Yeah, neat.
That is cool.
Yeah, and his teeth leave something to be desired. There's a little bit of a dentist needed for some of these things, but that's where I am so far. I still have to do his other eye and a bunch of other stuff, but it's on the way.
So nothing's glued on that at all, huh?
No, I glued on the ears. That I couldn't get too much of an ear, so I ended up just trying to hide them in the hair on the side of his head there.
Oh, looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So that nose is one piece. That's impressive.
The nose is glued on too. Sorry,
I
don't want to. So if you can see, like right here.
No, you really can't.
I tried to hide it as much as I could.
Good job.
Yeah.
Boy, man.
And then I'm giving him the dimples and stuff at this point, but he's coming along. But Ray, you had a couple that had these great wrinkles in the forehead, like the fat chubby wrinkles. So I'm trying to kind of mimic it after that. But
that looks
and the
really
other thing
cool.
was, when I first had it, it was kind of like this. It was like up like that. So I sliced the back at an angle so he looks like he's kind of a little bit more ominous, like a little menacing.
It catches the light well. I like it. I can't believe the neck thing. That's
yeah. I was gonna go with a big fat neck roll, but I figured, why not get a little bit more creative? Because I got Ray on that. I got to impress here.
That's excellent, man. It's really
so,
cool.
So we have like a ton of great questions, but I definitely wanted to give a chance for Ray to show his studio and outside of his studio, because I know that we'll have even more questions after that. So Ray, if you want to take it away and give us a little tour inside your studio, which you've given us a little bit of, but outside your studio as well.
All right, yeah. So this is my studio at home here, and it's a small room really, and this is where if I'm making something or carving something, I'm usually on my sculpting stand here, and just surrounded. I try to surround myself with stuff that helps keep the vibe of whatever it is. Obviously this is the sort of whimsical Scarecrow pumpkin world, and I got a hammock there, and I just chill. There it is, right there. Yeah, so Dad's workshop.
That would kill it.
And then out here in the living room, we have Tammy Tumbleweed.
Hello, Annie.
And then there's a little baby.
Baby Scarecrow.
Yeah. And then this is like a photo op thing I made last year for people that can walk behind and put their head here and take a picture. And they're a Scarecrow. And then someone else can put their head on the other side here, put their head through here, and usually I have like a bunch of pumpkin guts that I'll glue hanging. Like they just got their stem, top of their head cut off, stem taken out.
Beautiful.
And then here is Antashka Driving. So Antashka was built by Nikolai Torkov. He's a little Scarecrow boy. And yes, this is a little vehicle I made for the pumpkins or for Antashka, and it's just made with this was so fun to make. It's just junk, garbage, and stuff that I found on hikes and whatnot, and just built a little truck for him.
Made a perfect truck.
I love the cover. It reminds me of the Flintstones.
Yeah. All right, and then this. My favorite part is this engine compartment, just because it's made from an old bin to a a little mountain town around here, really small little town. It's 120 years old, this piece of stuff here.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, and even this got a little bell here that Dima bought for me from St. Petersburg. It's an antique little bell, and I'm gonna tie it to. I'm gonna have a little string here because that'll be there. You know, just so if he wants to,
That's the horn.
Get people out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, it's that. And here's Grimgore and Tumor.
He's got plenty.
So
what are the teeth?
Yeah, the teeth are just pieces of wood that I just stuck into this other burl. So there's two pieces of this big jaw part and then this upper head part were just like dead wood burls that were just done, just I put them together and they look like a jaw. So then I just cut these pieces of wood and sharpened them all and glued them in. And cut these eye sockets and stuffed them with some coconut fiber. Wrapped it with burlap. The body is wood built, like 2x4s under there, on like a rolling cart type thing, so I can move him easily. And then the mass of his body is just coconut fiber built up, and it just helps to grab. It holds on to the burlap holds on to that material just because of all the the roughness and little fibers get, so it holds well. He has a lot of. I try to have. I collect rocks, and I love looking for rocks that have natural hole. Hagstones, rocks that have holes that naturally through them. And then I started to put them as hearts, or for each of the scarecrows. But on this particular scarecrow, I thought it was better that it hung from his neck.
Yeah,
like an amulet.
Yeah,
his soul hanging out. Yeah.
Gabe Vignes redid this hand for me. Or he made this hand. This had a different hand, but Gabe did this hand. It's amazing. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun. Just we collect a bunch of cool sticks and just you just try to find shapes that look like just your
natural
hand. This one here, I got. This is a replacement. I found this finger and I like it better than this weak ass finger right there. So it's gonna go something like that. I gotta put there permanently. It almost it hangs there too easily, so I don't have to deal with it. I had that idea and hung it there months ago, and it still sits like that.
So Ray, when it comes to a finger like that, do you just kind of look over your shoulder after watching a show and you look at it and you just hate it? Is that kind of how that keeps bugging you?
That little one?
Yeah.
No. Well, when I first made this hand, I didn't have enough fingers, and the place to go find more fingers was like 2 hours away. That bugged me the most because I was like, "Fuck! I need another one." So I put that on there for the moment, but then as soon as I went back to this place that has my the great sticks and stuff, I found this replacement one.
Perfect.
Yeah, but when the day I made his hand, I knew I needed a certain one I didn't really have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ability
this actually
to find it is crazy.
Huh?
Your ability to find these pieces and know that they're going to fit.
Dude, that's a whole different conversation. But I think that's where you get. For me. That's where you start to realize the world is a little bit more mystical and magical than you realize, because it's largely based on your ability to realize things. And if you relax and say, okay, and you expect it, it seems to come to you.
Yeah.
Like you seem to be luckier, or however you want to, like if I went on walks with no expectation, I'm not going to find a rock with a hole, and how that's crazy. It's too hard to find. I wouldn't find it,
Right.
but
Right.
expectations. That's really, I don't know. It's like magic.
No, you're right,
man.
You're right, because I know around here that we have these things called sand dollars. You must remember sand dollars, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know people that every time they go to the beach find 3 or 4 sand dollars. I've never seen one of these things. I thought they were like friggin' store made.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's funny when you start tuning into something. You just, I don't know how that shit works, but it works. You gotta expect it.
I gotta figure it out.
Yeah. So this is another scare. This is probably one of the older scare. This is actually the oldest scarecrow in this house right now. At least his head is. There was only one other scarecrow that I made prior to him that I would have posted pictures of, and that scarecrow was made out of. It was like a rough concept thing, and so the head was monster clay inside underneath the burlap.
Really?
Underneath the burlap was monster clay. Not this one, but the first one. And I posted pictures of it. It looks a little bit like this guy. And I left it outside one day, and it gets triple digits.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
why
that monster clay was that scarecrow head was done.
Monster soup.
That's right. So this was the second one I made after that. And he's gone through some different changes. Even as I made him, you might recognize him like without the hair, without the bird shit, and he just had he had a different look. Like right now, some of his teeth are falling out. I gotta get a couple more teeth in there, but yeah, we change him up, do a little few things. He doesn't have an articulated frame, so I can't really pose him. If I want to change his pose, I have to take his clothes off and try to see if I'd have to rebuild his body is set right now. Whereas Gordy, who's in the other room, he can be posed anywhere. So let me go back there real quick. So Gordy here. He's got the ability to move wherever.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I can just change bolts and up and move them. This is Scarecrow here. Next one I'm making. His hands. I'm excited for this guy. This guy looks like when you get this head, when you put his head on a body.
Wow.
He just looks so cool. I can't wait to see him with a body and everything.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that would be great.
Jesus.
So this is also just wood that I found. This is like manzanita wood and just pieces of. I don't like how this. I gotta go back and fix some of this stuff. But anyway, and then I think I could use maybe a little bit bigger eyes. But I've been looking at them so long with these. Well, they're not really set in there right now, but
I like the size of the eyes, especially with the giant cavity around it.
Yeah, so that's that. And then here is there's the rocks and more rocks.
Hey Ray, about the rock balancing, I've always been fascinated by this. This literally is just balanced one rock on the other with there's obviously nothing touching in between them, other than just a ton of patience, right? Is that basically how that's all put together?
Yeah, it's just stacked on top of each other. Like I could blow on that and knock it all down. This is cement floors here, so it's pretty resilient to the footsteps and stuff. But
Yeah.
that thing is just balanced. This one here has been balanced up there for, I don't know, probably since February, maybe.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Now let me ask you a question. How long does that take?
So that one, I was there. I was on that thing all day. Probably took me about, I don't know, 8. So like, I sat down to balance rocks, walked away with that done like 8 or 9 hours later, but I wasn't trying to balance that for 9 hours. Like, I had lots of different arrangements that I was working on, and it fall, and then I'd forget which rocks I was using. You know what I mean? Like when I'm doing these, look how many rocks I have on the ground. So when it fails and everything's falls to the ground, I'm not always able to find and remember exactly which rocks I was using, and sometimes I'm not I'm not organized like that. So although sometimes I'll get a design that I'm really like this particular rock balance. The only thing I like about it is it's tall. I don't really care for its design. I've been wanting it to knock it down and do another one. I don't know why I haven't done that. But sometimes when I'm doing some, I'll really like the design of how it's coming out, and so if it falls, I make sure I grab all the same exact rocks and redo it. But most of the time, I'm just sticking with rocks. So like.
It boggles the mind that you can find a balancing point for all of those.
That's crazy.
You could do it. You could do it.
I could try it. I don't know if I could do it. I could try anything.
My attention span is not that good.
I love that guy. That's one of my favorite things you've done.
I love the burnt top, and like he got struck by lightning and got. Yeah, that is so cool.
Where I collected this is like a bunch of dead wood all over the place, and it's a really harsh looking environment with lots of burnt trees and everything. Yeah.
Hey, is that leaf real?
Everything's fucking real, man.
That one little leaf fell. Jesus Christ! It's like you find a needle in a haystack every single time you go out of the house. That's awesome. I got to get in tune with nature. I got to find some stuff.
No, wait. I would love to have you believe that, like, that is real, but I glued that to that.
All right. But that is the tiniest little leaf to go on. It's perfect.
Believe it or not, I had a better one. I couldn't find it. And every time I go out, last couple of times I went out hiking, I've been looking for a perfect little leaf I had one that was like half that size.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is pissing, man. I love it.
Yeah, well, it's pretty fun. Those are fun to make for sure. Yeah, but more rocks, and then this dude here. So I talked about the stone. There's a hagstone.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I found that rock.
Yeah.
And everything on this thing is freaking natural. Like, I don't like no clays or anything.
Yeah, it's all found.
Even is the stem original to that pumpkin too?
The stem is not original to it,
all
but
right.
it's a real stem.
It looks like it's original to it. I mean, it fits it perfect.
Yeah, I should say, and I just said there's no clay. I take that back. There's only where I had to seam that real stem to that.
Yeah.
Filled in,
right. That's to be expected. I do the same thing with stuff like that, but it's such a small amount of clay. You're just that's how you're attaching it too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's killer. Look at that thing.
It's
gotta be that Arizona heat drives them out like that.
Well, Gordy's head.
And then you can look in the inside. Yeah.
Gordy's head was dried in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah. Wait, where's Ray?
Oh, that's awesome.
So killer.
That's a nightmare vision right there.
So this is like a back hatch. This
And
is
it's
nice.
It looks so sturdy too. I mean, that thing's on there good.
And then what was on the inside? You showed yesterday. You showed the inside of that little thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
originally the inside was just totally natural. After this thing has fallen, it shattered. It was a storm during a Halloween event last year, and this thing toppled over and shattered, and I had to glue it back together. And on the inside, I reinked it and glued this just coconut fiber, just just a neat surface on it.
Yeah.
How was that puzzle to put back together?
Oh fuck.
Humpty Dumpty, baby.
Yeah, but you know what? God, I was so grateful that I got it back together.
Yeah, it looks great. Now it's built like a tank. That thing will never break again.
Yeah. So here's like two different pieces of wood here, and I just so this piece of wood had lots of natural grooves, and I carried them over onto this side, carved them in. I tied a rope to hide the seam of the two, even though I blended it, I just figured a rope would help break that transition a little bit more. And then this piece of 2x4 actually, I think in here for the palm, and then I grinded it down, and I put some coconut fiber again and stapled that, and pinned all these pieces of sticks into the hand, tied the burlap over it. He's holding a bucket.
Potatoes. Wow.
A couple of them got dried out.
Yeah, this guy's hard as a rock. Oh, mouse from falling.
Mouse down. We have a mouse down.
Hey, so Ray, before you leave that room, I want to ask you about the picture on the wall of the elephant that you sculpted. So that's sand from. Tell us about that, because I'm just fascinated by that.
So this is sand from the Salt River here in Phoenix. Sue Beatrice and I carved this. I don't know, maybe about 5 years ago, I'd say, or so. It's I would imagine about a life-size elephant. It was about 8 foot tall sculpture, or maybe a little less. To the top, we packed in some coconut fiber, not coconut fibers, palm tree fronds, the fibers from the palm trees, packed it in to the top of the head to look like hair. And then also for the eyelashes, we used some. And then we used some on the back end for his tail. And it's a picture of an elephant playing chess against a mouse. We made the board, consulted with the chess people, some chess experts, to see how would the board look if this mouse absolutely was done deal, he's gonna win.
So the moves are right. Wow.
Yes. So we made sure
so
the
awesome.
details. Yeah, we made sure the details of the board game were all correct, and then it's eating a bunch of peanuts. And then one of the peanuts I carved to look like a penis too, and I hit it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's that. So it took us.
So when you do sand sculpture, just a question about that, because you're doing subtractive, because you're building the forms, you're compacting it with water, and then you're going from the top down, and you have to have pretty much a finished look as you go from one layer to the next, right?
Yeah, I mean, you if you don't have like if you could reach stuff, then it's nice to be able to work on areas, you know, but you don't want to be working up here, like finish something down here and then go back up here. So all this sand is falling onto your stuff, you know, you want to try rough out as much as you can in one area, you know, so that you can have consistency. But this is a small one. So if you imagine a sand sculpture where maybe it's 20, you have finishing up the levels 100%. While the bottom is still encased in plywood and stuff. So it could be a little bit difficult to like imagine the rest of the sculpture. You definitely can't always work on blocking the whole thing in at once when you're doing large sand sculpting pieces. But smaller one, I mean, this is a relatively small sand sculpture. Smaller ones you can, you know, at least you could get the thing blocked, take off the forms and get the thing blocked off or much. You might have seen pictures of this where the head of the elephant is sticking out of, you know, this is all wood, you know, box and just his head finish, you know. But yeah, it's definitely top down. Compaction is really important. You got to make sure that the sand is the right amount of water mixed in with it and that it's compacted well. And when you open up those forms, you just start, you know, hopefully you got a really tight pile that's compact and holds details.
Is there a type of sand that's the best?
Yeah, so sand that's on the beach is usually not the best because it's been like
it shells in
the
it.
ocean is it's been rounded. The grains of sand are very round as compared to say like inland glacial sand or river sand might be sharper. So that
hold together.
When you compact it, if you take a microscope, you'll see that the grains of sand are locking in a little bit better than and then also sometimes if sand will have like small amounts of so even sand is just a word used to describe the size of the particle. So like, you know, you could have like quartz sand or silica, you know, there's different types of sands that you could have. It's the same way as there's different types of rocks you could have or different type of clays. So sometimes the sand that you order might have a little bit of silt, which is the next smallest particle size before you get to clay, which is the small, you know, it's really small. So depending on the mixtures of those various things, also depend, you know, yields the, you know, some people I technically like when there's a little bit of silt or clay content in there. Not too much though, because it can get difficult to sculpt something so big when you're trying to shovel away. Can imagine trying to, you know, when you try and dig a freaking post hole and you hit clay, how hard it is, you know? Imagine trying to do a whole sculpture like that. It's just really difficult. So, you know, each sculptor has their own preference depending on their style. You know, some people aren't so detail orientated and they just like nice, clean, great forms, and they don't need for the sand to hold that tight detail with the with any of the small particle size. So, and they like to be able to dig that shovel through there and not be so labor intensive of a process. So, you know, all the sands are different, and everyone has their own, you know, preference.
Yep.
So when you did Mabel, I saw the video of you packing the sand yourself. Like, did you guys have to pack the sand yourself for that elephant?
For this elephant, it was I wasn't by myself though. I had someone helping me, Travis Higginbottom and myself. I think just us two did that.
Wow.
Mostly Travis Higginbottom. Actually, Travis Higginbottom and maybe his son-in-law.
Well, cheers to them, because that's a ton of sand to compact.
Yeah. Actually, 15 tons.
Wow. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Amazing, Ray. I'd say that one out of all, I don't know how to choose, but I'd say between that and Mabel.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Thank you.
I
And
enjoyed
he
the,
says,
process of watching you do Mabel because you kept it so you were up to date on your social media with it, and it was just fun to go along for the ride.
Yeah.
yeah, I have so much more video of that too that I need to. I got like different clips of different stuff, and I got to start keep sharing the same ones. I got to share some other ones, but.
Well, that was a hell of a tour, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can I come live at your house?
I should probably.
All right.
I guess normally we'd be sitting here carving away the whole time, but I was looking at it like a kid, just like, oh, look over that corner. And I swear, as a huge fan of yours, I just keep like remembering like the process and the postings you did even years ago of some of those things like the elephant or Mabel or any of the Ghoulie or any of those guys. So it's just so cool to see them in their natural habitat, right?
Oh, thank you.
I used to want to be a Goonie as a kid.
Huh?
I said I used to want to be a Goonie as a kid. Now as an adult, I want to be a Villafane.
Yeah. Same thing. Just a Goonie anyway.
That's it.
So we did have a question from Facebook from Mike Battistelli. What kind of tanks are you using, Ray?
So these are just acrylic tanks. So for this one here, I have I believe it's 14 inches by 14 inches by 18 inches tall. I'm not quite sure on that one. And this is acrylic tank. I had that one made for me by a local guy who just makes tanks. These here are hexagon tanks, and the reason we needed that is so that it could fit into this this design here. And these were also custom made for us, but they're basically just fish tanks. Matter of fact, this morning I was looking online for some cheap tanks that could work. Ideally, I think like a 15-gallon tall tank is a good tank. This type of tank gives a little bit of distortion, you can see, obviously, which sometimes I like. It's cool effect at times, and I don't know, it just gives like a little bit of a weird magical fun house sort of feel. Still gives you that flat front so that you don't get any distortion when as you get closer, you get the whole thing. As you get further away, you'll get distortions on the lateral sides.
Yeah.
But like I said, we needed that for this. I could have got a cylindrical tank to go in here, like around. But what happens when you've seen stuff when you put it in jars, it just swells up.
Like a magnifying glass.
Yeah, the way it magnifies through it, it swells the whole thing. I prefer a flat thing at times. I guess sometimes the round thing works for certain sculptures, but for these tanks, I didn't want to have rounded glass or acrylic, so I went with the hexagon.
I like the hexagon. It gives them it's like a prism effect.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have some other ideas I want to do. I have where is that? So here's another. This was gotta make some room here. Hold on a second. Yeah, I was gonna clean before. So this was gonna be another display. Like, this is a little clay model I made years ago. I was gonna do a casket, the cactus tank, and the tree, the rotten tree. You know what I mean? So I was gonna sculpt this, and then just make fiberglass displayed things and put tanks inside these little, whimsical dead trees. But yeah.
Now, what would you when you do? Because I know you will finish the tree. What do you plan on making it out of?
So I would probably carve this out of foam or something, and I'm not sure how I would do it now. I'm not even sure I'll do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure if I'll be ambitious enough to make one of these. I might. I mean, if I really want to, I think I would just hire it out to someone because that doesn't look fun enough for me. Like, I mean, it looks fun, but I think the fun part I already did is this little sketch, like recreating this. You know, I don't know, like 8 feet tall or whatever this is, 7 feet or something. I'd rather have someone else do that, especially because the process of making that fucking thing was enough for me to be like, no, you know what I mean? This will be more of that, and yeah. And I don't know. I mean, imagine that I have a friend who works with foam and doesn't mind working with foam. I loathe working with foam, the mess and
The respirator.
yeah. So anyway, it would probably.
Did you get those,
What was that?
sorry, I just was jumping. Did you get those tanks? I think you mentioned at Michael's, or where can, like, because I've never pickled. I mean, I feel bad because a lot of folks have done many pickled, really cool looking things. Like I'm looking at one right now, yours. But where do you purchase them at Michael's, or where's the best place to go get them?
Yeah. All right. So Michael's has a large selection of stuff. Everything you see on this table was purchased from Michael's as far as the glass things go. So yeah, I got this from Michael's. I believe this is maybe like $20. These are like $7. So what you do is carve the potato, and you want it to be soaking in vinegar for a couple of months before you actually seal it, because it will discolor the vinegar those first couple of months, or somehow have a valve in your thing, you could seal it up and just change out the vinegar if you need to, but the vinegar will get dirty over the first couple months. So but once it's finished leaking out all of its shit, you just want to get the finished carving, put it inside the jar with the vinegar, and then I drill a little hole. This is the old one, it's got junk on it now, but I drilled a hole on the tops of these lids. You just get a glass drill bit from Home Depot or whatever, and you drill a little hole, and then after you put the potato in, you throw a bead of silicone around the top here, carefully close it up. Obviously, you got them when you do your carvings, you want to make sure they fit in the jar. And after you put it in there and seal it, let that silicone set and dry really good, and then in that little hole, then you just get you just get like a syringe, and you just finish topping off all of it with vinegar, and then after you do that, then you just put a little dab of silicone on that little hole, and then it's sealed in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
voila.
And it's only, the jar is like $7. A tube of silicone you can get at Home Depot. It's for, probably about $5. And then I don't know, one of these little syringe. You'll need a little syringe and drill bit. But yeah, it's definitely, jars are fun to pickle the potatoes. This little potato was carved literally over 6 years ago, man.
Oh my gosh.
Over 6 years
ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I mean, he probably, his coloring would be better had I maintained his tank in the beginning. But
and do you change out the vinegar every now and then?
I've not touched. I recently took him out of his jar a few weeks ago. I took him out of his jar like 2 weeks ago. I took him out of his jar that he had been in for almost 6 years.
Wow.
So a year or so after I initially carved him, I had let him sit in old vinegar, and that's what made him so brown. Had I changed out his vinegar in the beginning process, so he wasn't sitting in that, he would be a little cleaner, I believe. But he still doesn't matter. It's a cool color.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We were having people ask. We're having people ask if you can show the potato behind the coffee cup.
This is Dean's. This is an old one from.
Now you're cleaning.
Yeah, no shit. So yeah, this is there you go. This is carved by Dean Arnold. This is one of the we had for an event a couple of years ago. So this potato is well over a year.
Cyclops.
Wow. What I mean, he's got one eye and he's got a great expression. I don't know how that works.
He's so content.
Now, let's see, there's this guy here.
Oh yeah.
I haven't sealed him up. I just have him there, and that's the mother growing right there.
And that happened that fast too, because you just did that too.
Yeah. It'll the mother vinegar will grow pretty quick.
Yeah. So my wife Lenora was saying that you're supposed to buy apple cider vinegar with mother in it already. Is that true?
For doing this stuff?
Not for doing this stuff, but I think it's like it's a good thing.
Oh yeah,
if
yeah.
it's in vinegar.
So that's like kombucha. It's a healthy sort of healthy. I don't know if I'd want to drink that shit, but natural product.
So you have healthy carvings, is what it means.
Yeah, that's right. Take a bite at except for the super glue on this. Oh yeah, there is super glue on this one.
That's cool. Look at the tail. The thing's got a tail.
Yeah, I always when I go to get the sweet potatoes, I'm only interested in ones that have something cool about them.
Something going on, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I've become with pumpkins. If I see a round pumpkin at a grocery store, I run past it. If I see something that looks like it sat next to 10 other ones and had the cord wrapped around its head, then I'm like, oh, this one's got character. So
yeah. Let's see.
Nice, Ray, setting the scene.
Yeah, I've set some of these things up a little here.
So cool. The other one, the smiling one looks like you get frisky with the devil.
Yeah.
So we always get questions about tools. And Dean Murray asked a favorite tool that you didn't make.
A favorite tool that I didn't make. So my favorite tool is modified, because I did modify it. I didn't make it. So I'm hoping to have Triangle Tools make me a similar tool. Had I discovered my love for this tool early on, I would probably have it in that toolkit. But this is a tool right here. It's a Kemper tool. But as is from the store, it's not my favorite. But if you put some rake lines in it, if you groove into it, as like here, if you carve in, get a Dremel and put some lines into it to rake it, like serrations, then you
got two sides to it. So you got like a fine and a thicker rake, right? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I got a coarse side and a fine side.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I see this handle I messed up, but yeah, this would just so this would probably be my favorite tool. And then yeah, that's probably
It's become my favorite tool as well. I use the same exact.
Yeah, it's
model.
good. Really
Such a nice rounded edge.
Yeah. This shape is ideal. Having that slight point and then that wide round here. So
and the flat. Yeah.
Yeah, the flat spot too. It's like several tools in one.
The multi-tool.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned over the years is the flat does the curves, right? I was so pulled towards using a curved tool to do a flat surface to me to if I wanted to do any kind of contour, like concave or
Yeah.
convex actually. But then the flat tools ended up being the thing that I always ended up gravitating towards. I mean, I like this Kemper. It's a PT445. It's a small one, but it's got, and I don't even have this thing serrated, but it's my like,
Yeah.
it got
I
the
know that
angles,
tool.
but it's that flat, and it's a great flat tool, and it's strong as heck. I can really dig into it if I
Yeah.
have.
I know that one. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. This is another tool that, all right. So now tools that I made, this is a tool I use a lot that I made. It's just a long, and I have another one that broke. I need to make another one of it, but it's just a very narrow, long, like rectangular shape, and it's great for getting into maybe getting into deep areas and pulling material out, whether that be inside of the pupil or any areas I just want to go in and pull out. Go in and poke and pull out, and have a long neck to reach in there.
Yeah.
So I made this, and I used to have another one that was even narrower and longer. I like that a lot too. And then I made this side here, and this is but this is just I have this in my other. It's basically just this tool here.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So it looks like just bent a little bit though, right? At the
Yeah, this one here I got I'm too rough on it, but they're essentially the same.
Yeah, that's a great
Same.
tool. I use your version, Ray, all the time of the triangle one of that.
Yes, that's this one here.
Yeah, because it's got such a great sharp edge to that one side, and you can really dig well with it.
These tools, let's see. Let's talk. While we're talking tools, I've spoke a lot about these, and I use them a lot. These little clay hole punchers, but really brass tubing. There's a benefit of having it made the way these are, because they're like semicircles, so that you could cut in the iris of an eye that is being overlapped by an eyelid without messing up, so if you just bought brass tubing, you'd have to grind that to customize it. But man, I could not imagine pumpkin carving without having these sort of little tubings. Definitely, they're not in my toolkit, but they're like one of those little side sort of things you definitely want to invest in. And they're cheap, just little brass tubing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Ray, actually, Paul turned me on to these. I was using like a little partial chisel, but I was using like anyway, it's like a wood chisel, and it had that same kind of end to it that does that semicircle. And then when I finally got these, I'm like, oh my God. And it came in a pack of 6. So you have 12 different size half circles. And it was like, I saw, I think the skies opened up, and I heard God say, here you go, sir. It was, oh my God, where have I been without these?
Aren't those great? So you have more than, so that's, Paul, those are, because those look like the same that I have, and I believe I sent the link to, but you found a set that had even more than the 3, or is it just 3 double-ended?
Not me. When you told me about them, that's I followed the link that you gave me, and then I got a couple of sets, and then I turned Matt onto them, and then I think Matt might have found another size. I don't know.
Yeah, the ones I found.
I wish I could get a bigger.
5 or 6.
Oh, look at this guy.
I don't know. They keep multiplying in my bag here.
Yeah.
Don't get them wet.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it was. But so the biggest one, I guess, would be this one, and then I got a small one, and I use that for the tiny, the light
highlight the eye.
The little highlight for the eye. I'll use that for
Yeah.
depending on the size of the eye I make. But it's phenomenal. Then I can core it right into the side of it, pull out just a perfect piece. And anyway, it's and again, it's
Yeah.
like, an ounce of brass here. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's definitely those little brass tubes and the tool and then this tool that I showed you, in addition to the staple tools of my toolkit that I have, those would be like the two that I use the most, or most important at least. Yeah.
I find I only use 3 or 4 tools mainly.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a big arsenal, but at the end of the day, you're really relying on 3 or 4 of your favorite tools.
Yeah, especially with butternut. You can't get too big with a butternut squash. So the one you're using right now, Paul, is a magic one. I use that Kemper, that mini tool all the time. That little tiny triangle. That is a staple.
I like that steel on it. I like the size of the ribbon on those are great.
They're sharp too. I broke my small one though, Matt. I broke it last night. Rest in peace. I love that tool.
I know. I shed a tear when I break one too.
Right, because you got to order a brand new set. You can't just order one tool.
Yeah.
No, I like these ones, and I know I watched you using dental tools, Ray.
Yeah.
Do you use that just to clean out stuff, or do you do that for the fine lines when you do stuff?
No, yeah, usually just to clean out stuff. I got a few that I now sometimes, sometimes when you're doing a carving, you get to that. It's like a magic. Here's like I have a dental tool right now, and like sometimes I don't know if it'll work on this one, but sometimes you can just draw and press into, not so much this carving here, but sometimes I'll do a little bit of etching with the dental tool if the material is telling me, hey, it's sometimes you get that period where it's like it's soft and you could almost like press it into itself,
Right.
And so I like to use it during those times, but usually it's for digging stuff out. I like this one here a lot.
That's a good one.
And the other side of it's got a little bit of more of a point,
like a spoon kind of.
Yeah, I think I saw you using it on the skull to do the subtle, the cranial fault lines, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's really good for that type of stuff.
Hey, Ray, while we're talking about material, I'd love to know kind of your favorite pumpkin variety. Because of you, I love wolf pumpkins. Because of you, I like the Hubbard squash. But do you have a seasonal favorite, the one that you're just like, this is my favorite, I'm in love with this one?
Yeah, so those two pretty much, although I would say that the red Hubbards, I haven't really seen them around here. I've only seen them really in Germany, at least the kind that I like. Whenever I find a red Hubbard around here, they're much smaller and they're not quite the same, like the shape is, all right. So, the Hubbard squash, the bluish gray ones,
Oh yeah.
And,
they're beautiful.
Yeah. And they get, in Germany, they have the same, but they have it red, nice deep orange red color. And I'm sure they're around here, but in the farms that I've gone to, I have yet to be able to get my hands on someone growing those red ones like that. But that would probably, if we had red ones, those would probably be my favorite of everything. Other than, favorite to carve, it's always nice sometimes that when you're done with it, it's look like a traditional pumpkin, so that when people say, "Oh wow, that's cool," it's an orange pumpkin with the stem. Sometimes you don't always get that with the Hubbard, because it's a little different. But carvability, I'd say my favorite is a good red Hubbard, because it has this sort of material, like
real dense, but fine, like I guess is the word.
I don't
know.
But you know what? When you get a good wolf pumpkin with a nice stem and it's a really thick wall to it to carve, it's hard to beat that. When you pick up when you pick up a wolf pumpkin that has the right silhouette that you want, and you go to pick it up and it's super heavy. I
Yeah.
don't know if anything beats that. I mean, that's like, wow, like, oh my God, like you feel like you picked up 2 pumpkins, and it's like,
Yeah.
God, I could do something on that, or that's so fun. Like, like only a
I know.
pumpkin geek would know about that sort of details. Like, oh shit, feel how heavy this is.
Oh, I'm like grinning ear to ear thinking about the times where I've gone to like the little pumpkin patch here in Tucson that grows. There's a place down in Wilcox, Arizona, that called Apple Annie's, and they grow great wolf pumpkins and a bunch of other varieties, but including some Hubbards that I've gotten. But I get so like a 10-year-old giddy when I walk in that place, and and my girls will be behind me, and they'll just be like rolling their eyes, and I'm like, no, look at that one. And anyway, I get so like I'll drive home with a huge smile on my face, can't get home fast enough to start looking at them and setting them up and turning them around. It's just
I'm going to peel a couple of these stickers off that have the butternut squash things, and I'm gonna see if I could find a local place that's growing butternuts, or if I could. I want to see if I can get to them before they get the stems cut off, because I would like. Because if I can get this without, I mean, I know I could always glue stems on this, but they're small. If I could have the natural, at least an inch or two, it would add so much more magic to the finished pieces if there was a stem that was still on it.
well,
Right.
I might be able to help you, Ray. I gotta. There's this variety, Green Point. I'm only put it in front of the camera.
Yeah.
They're not sponsoring me yet, but damn it, they should. But
Are they
a
local?
buddy of mine in produce gets me like boxes of them, and every one of them are fresh, and they even have like the beautiful green coming from here, like so that when you're I'll show you one to give you an example, but they're just beautiful. Hang on.
So does it say what state that's grown in, or if in Mexico or whatnot?
They're grown in Mexico, but if you look at the top of that, you can still see the green lines. I'll put the light over a little better. See those green lines?
Yeah.
So, and the thing is like an absolute rock.
Yeah.
And that when you're starting to carve something like that, you're way ahead of the game. But I'll talk to my produce friends and see if I can, get a word down to Mexico to leave. Give us
leave the stems on.
Give us some of them with stems on. I'd be happy as hell too.
I'd say I did that speech in Germany where I spoke to all the pumpkins about not having their stems cut off. So, yeah, I really like to because I'm really enjoying these butternut squash. The only thing I don't like about them is that the color of the rind just gets lost. But I think if it had a stem on it, it would just offset that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and again, I do one that has like a red meat to it.
Oh yeah, when you like a deep, like an orangey.
Like a dark orange red color. It's crazy.
Those
you can never tell from the outside. They all look the same on the outside.
Yeah.
You had a organic one before that was like that.
Yeah, I like even yesterday morning I woke up and I think I hit 6 grocery stores. I think trying to find. I gotta do this another skull idea I have, and I can't use the ones that have the narrow dip in it. It needs to really be, like I showed you before, like a capsule, and I keep making the rounds to all the grocery stores just to go see what they have new butternut squash. I want to go to a farm, man. I want to go to a farm and just where I can go through bins of them and get all the ones I need.
I weirdly enough, I found my produce guy today, Matt. A guy I just happened to know and play golf with. He has the same exact gig as your buddy, and he told me this. He's like, "I'll get you I can give you a whole bin of butternut squash."
Ooh.
So I'll have to hand pick a few.
That's cool.
I'll wrap them up and overnight them.
I would love a really big one of those that doesn't have, like the shape I was talking about.
Yeah.
with the stem. Oh my god, I don't even need pumpkins.
Blasphemy, Ray. Don't you ever say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, forget Halloween. We're
We're gonna spoil it. You're gonna go back to carving fucking pumpkins. It's gonna feel like you're carving a watermelon.
exactly.
Really, because this material is so dense and carves like creamy and smooth. Pumpkin's really gonna feel like a watermelon.
It's gonna take some adjusting, that's for sure.
Yeah. God,
Hey, when you're trying to get some detail, Ray, or flatter, smoother skin, I mean, what I typically use, I'll just find a scrub brush like this, and I'll kind of just use that as sandpaper. Do you have any tips or tricks for getting really smooth skin
All right,
there?
so first thing is to really make sure you're using a tool that has a rake on it, and if you have a fine rake, like the one on the, on that side, fine tooth rake to really get your forms totally the bigger things transition smooth. Then I just go to a Scotch-Brite. My wife bought me a knockoff. Try this knockoff one. It doesn't do really anything. The 3M Scotch-Brite pads.
Okay.
They work great. I can't really use them on this one because that problem I was telling you about, it messes it up. It's one of the reasons I'm not really tooling on this anymore because it's very sensitive. The only things I do need to do is the inside. I want to add like the inside of the mouth. I was going to tell like teeth, and I might do a fin here. I thought about adding another set of gills on the side here, but I don't know how motivated. I'm kind of like almost, I'm like, I think if I just do that, I'm done. Well, because I still got the teeth, and I don't even want to do the teeth. But I don't know. Sometimes I get like.
So I'm not the only one that goes through this.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm done with it already. It's like okay, it's not. But
I was always taught that artwork is never finished; it's just abandoned. So you just know when to walk away.
Yeah. Sometimes I abandon it a little too early though. So you use that a wire brush or a toothbrush?
It's like a hybrid between the two. It's like
Is that what the hell? Copper?
No, it's plastic.
Oh.
It's soft like a toothbrush. I don't know. My wife gives me all the tools that I don't think I need, and then she'll just be like, "Try this, try that." And I'm like, "I'm not gonna." And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, "This is the best fucking thing I've ever used."
Yeah.
So I don't know what it. I really don't.
It's good.
It's Pampered Chef. Sorry, a big league and everybody. I get Pampered Chef tools.
Oh, look at you. Who's next week's sponsor?
Yeah.
So it cleans out something. It cleans out pumpkin schmutz pretty good. I mean, it can.
Yeah. So
Matt,
does our friend press.
Matt, you have not pickled anything yet?
No, you know what? And I'm totally motivated to now, Ray. I mean, after seeing what you've got behind you, I'm so hard on myself. I let them dry out, and then they look so bad. I put them on our back wall, and I watch birds eat them and stuff. And but I gotta get motivated and get a big enough thing. I think this guy might be a fun one to pickle because if you put the right lights on him and stuff, he'd be fun. But
not only that,
I got to get doing that.
Are you handy at all with
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, I have a lot of drill bits. I don't know if I've got a glass one, but I certainly can do all the silicone stuff and buy the right vinegar. But I'm certainly motivated to do it now after seeing all this.
Yeah, you could get like a little beta like this morning. I was looking online for like 15-gallon tanks, and you'd be surprised with some inexpensive ones because you're just looking for a rectangular tank that. Yeah, I think I was finding some that what I would like to do is get like either a beer keg and cut a display opening into it. Like like I have these I have the casket and I have the coffin. off in the
Saguaro, the big tree.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I want to do like a tabletop one, and I thought about getting either a rusted propane tank and cutting the face of it off, and then just put a bunch of gauges and rivets and stuff, and then so that I could, and put a glass front on it, and just like it'd be like a really cool, look like it's pressurized, and I could put lights in there. Yeah, because I want to have a tabletop thing, and that'd be perfect size for. Actually, it might be a little bit too big for the these butternut squash, but for a single pumpkin, a keg, a beer keg, or a propane tank would be really good. A little 5-gallon propane tank.
What about a half? What if you did the short bottle of acetylene?
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
Big around.
Huh?
A bottle of
acetylene tank.
Acetylene looks like.
I know it, like the tall one. Like I don't know what a short one looks like.
They have short ones too.
Yeah. Any sort of any of that industrial metal thing. If you cut open and do some welding and stuff, it would just look cool. It look like a really cool display for.
I know. I'd love to do an homage to the severed head in Silence of the Lambs, and have it be floating and looking at you with those glazed eyes, and almost. But I'm worried that it's just going to turn over, and next thing you know, it's going to be I'd want to anchor it on a chain or something, so at least it stays bobbing, but not flipping around in there. But that'd be kind of fun.
So what do you mean, like looking? I'm not familiar with the scene.
In the Silence of the Lambs, they go in this one storage locker where Hannibal Lecter has a head, severed, a human head in a jar, pickled in formaldehyde. But when you look at it, it's clearly a human head that's been severed. So it would have to be as round of a pumpkin shape as I can get, but then it's got a cut neck, and its eyes are open and its mouth is open.
That sounds so whimsical.
It's very whimsical.
Exactly what you do. It's the exact same thing you do.
But I've had this vision in my head of doing a pumpkin version of it. It'd be super fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have a little mouth scuba diver in there to make it whimsical, but
yeah.
Hey, so Ray, that's a really good question I think we should read, which is, do you sometimes make a mold and reproduce the part in some kind of a more permanent material? Have you ever done that? Have you ever tried to cast it in?
No. So if you were to cast so the carvings, so a pumpkin material is very translucent. It's very juicy, and there's so many flaws that are in it that you don't see when it's in the pumpkin material. You take one of those sanding sponges and you sand it, and it looks like, oh shit, you got that polished perfect. Now, if you were to cast and mold that and re-pour it in another material, chances are you're going to see a ton of scratches and scrapes and flaws and all that. So whenever we've done we have pumpkin replicas, but we've had to sculpt them out of clay so that the molds yield the look that the real pumpkin has. Because if you were to just mold it as is, there would be a lot more flaws on it that you'd see because you didn't see them in the pumpkin. And if you were trying to cast it in a material that was similar, it just gets really expensive and stuff. I have taken I got a scan of one of the pumpkins, but I'm usually not interested in casting them much. I don't know. I suck with that type of stuff though, and I'm like for me. All right, so to me, it's there's magic in real fucking magic, not just real magic in the carvings, and I know for someone who's not the sculptor, they would like to have a replica of it. I understand that, and that's one of the reasons that I go about the route of just carving it out of clay so that the finished result looks like the pumpkin. As far as trying to mold it directly from the pumpkin, because of all those flaws, it's like, you know what? It's not the real pumpkin anyway anymore. You're losing the magic, so might as well sculpt it so it looks like it's supposed to. It'd be like having a meteorite that's a plastic meteorite. Like, it's what's the purpose? You know what I mean? It's like it's like
It happened once.
you know, got a little charm, a meteorite charm, but it's cast.
Nah, it's the pic. I believe the pictures holds the magic still. You get the right when you take a great picture, and it's the way you remember it when you did it. Yeah. Actually, I think a lot of times they look better in like the right light. You know, you get a great picture out of it. And it's like,
oh yeah. When you get a good photo of a pumpkin carving, it's I like it a lot. Yeah. And they're really tricky to fucking. First several years I was carving, it took me a while to figure them out as far as lighting wise, you know.
Yeah. It's still hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps to have different types of lights. First of all, have a really cool light, or one with recently I've been using the little blue filter I have on that I could put on a light, like a gel or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps to have different types of lights, and then you definitely need like at least 3. You know, you should have, or sometimes even more. Like you would be like right now. I mean, I took down some of my lights, but you can see right there I have 4 lights going on.
Wow.
Yeah, I got like three like drafting lights there, and a small little ring light.
The ring light makes a huge difference too, I found.
Huh?
The ring light throws a great. It throws the light in the perfect.
Yeah,
I'm not on the word, but it throws it in the right angle.
Yeah, I like having it for fill light too, because it's a little, you know, those other lights are, you know, good drafting lights are pretty powerful, but I like to have that little ring light. My daughter got it for me for my birthday, and it works great for like, it's so lightweight. I can put it somewhere to just fill in where sometimes it just gets the shadows get too dark, and it's a good fill light. Or to put it off to the side and just give a lot of cool light. Actually, that one I can adjust the temperature of it.
I got one of those too. You can change the actual color.
Warm or cool.
Yeah, warm and yeah. Doing it now.
Yeah, so we've gone an hour and a half, and we could probably go an hour and a half more. Did you guys have any last questions that you wanted to get in, or did you want to continue this, or so what?
Listen, I'm happy Ray did it in the first place.
It flew past. It seriously, I can't believe we're already out of time. I mean, this has been really, really fun. This has been really fun. Are there more questions from the our folks out there, or are we have those trickled away at this point?
Dean Murray's got a good one, Ray.
Yeah.
He wanted me to ask if you've ever carved in the bathroom of a hotel room.
Oh, many times. Knows that for sure. Yeah. Got to contain the mess somehow.
That's it.
I think the worst was my wife and I went to Puerto Rico. We had to carve some pumpkins there, and I brought these pumpkins into the hotel room, and we were doing it was like one of those like crazy like two days of carving, and I'm trying, you know, like when you're in that crunch zone, and you gotta like a gig that you're trying to get these things done for, and like, you know, one's wrapped, you gotta start the other, and you're just elbows deep into pumpkins, and the ones that we had were like kind of like rotting, you know, or something, and then got the carvings done, but then we had to leave to the event that they were holding, and we were gone for a whole day, and then we wanted to sightsee or do something while we were in Puerto Rico. I can't remember the details. All I know is that fucking room, like, just, oh God. like rotten pumpkin smell is pretty bad, you know.
Like a pumpkin's a-hole.
Yeah, in a nice fancy hotel.
Holly had a question. What day does Carefree start this year? I always wanted to go.
We will not be doing it right now. COVID. I'll be posting updates on what we have for this year, but we're no longer having the festival in Carefree though. I have some. I'm working on some things, and I might have some information on where we'll least be for this year, and maybe moving forward. But it'll probably be more centrally located for anyone here in Phoenix. Carefree was way off the beaten path. So we're looking to get a bit more centrally located here in the valley.
That's great.
Cool.
That's fantastic.
So obviously, Ray, I mean, we all admire your work, and it was a fascinating journey behind the scenes to see you work. We'd love to have you back, in the future, maybe around Halloween time. That'd be fantastic if you're up for it. And I know that you're probably busy, but we'd love to have you scheduled in that time. So thank you so much for that. And we can follow you at Villafane Studios on Instagram. Is there anywhere else we can find you?
Instagram, Villafane Studios, Facebook, Villafane Studios. I have a YouTube, and I do know my password. I do have a YouTube. I'm certainly going to start being more active on that. And I'm, I'll just trying to carve and post more stuff, and any information that I find of value, I like to share with anyone who's interested in knowing it. So,
Well, thank you. We know you don't do a lot of interviews, so thank you for giving us the privilege of having this today. It's been a blast. And I know that Matt and Paul super admire your work, and really it catapults their talent that they already have. They really look up to you. And I can say that because I'm outside of it, but not to embarrass them, but you are the Carver's Carver, as it were. So please keep on inspiring.
Thank you, man. I truly appreciate that, and it's just a brotherhood of love for this crazy vegetable.
Pumpkin deep.
Damn pumpkins.
Yeah, pumpkin deep. Cool.
Good.
Well, thank you, man.
Thank you so much for being here. And for Ray will not be here next week, unfortunately. We'd love to have him next week. But we will actually be here next week, same time on YouTube. And you can see we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So please follow us. It's been a blast, Ray. Thank you so much for being here. Paul and Matt, your work is amazing. And we'll be posting the work that we do today on our social media channels. So check that out. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Those look great. I look forward to seeing them finished.
Yeah, of course. If I finish
I'll have them
it.
up there. Thanks, Ray. Thanks for the inspiration.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah,
Thanks you so much. Good night.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.